Welcome back to another strange and mysterious podcast. Of course, I'm one of your hosts, G. Introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Matthew Roybal, a.k.a. Define 999, a.k.a. Run Amok. I think I said that the other day, right? I think you did. That was my graffiti name, Run Amok. What's up, dude?
Hey, it's good, man. How's everything with you?
Good. We had a great weekend. I got a new lid. Look at that.
I know that's tight. I was kind of peeping that up.
Gothic, man. I love me my bat. I love me my bats. I'm a creature of the night.
Hey, who are you?
A Batman.
Which I'm looking forward to. That Flash movie. Oh,
it actually looked pretty good. You know, I'm kind of excited about it.
So everybody that has already seen it, like have says that this is one of the greatest superhero movies ever produced.
Was it made? It wasn't made by James Gunn, was it?
I'm not sure who made it, but through all the reviews, they're just giving it huge accolades.
Having Keaton back as Batman. I mean,
oh, dude, I'm so stoked for that.
Yeah, it's really stoked. And Affleck, you know, I'm guessing they're going to do the multi-dimensional thing from what I saw of it. I'm excited. That's definitely one to see in the theaters too, I think.
So today, I wanted to do something a little bit different. Not so much different, but you know, we talked about ghosts and we talk about Dogman, and we talk about all these strange and mysterious things, of course. Mm-hmm. But today I wanted to talk about strange and mysterious areas. And one of the strange and mysterious areas, of course, and there's many of them, but one of them that's like super popular is the Bermuda Triangle and lesser known triangles throughout the globe. So I thought we'd watch a video. And
I haven't heard much about it. I've heard of other areas where they think crazy shit goes on, but I didn't know they were shaped in a triangle.
Yeah, they're like in a triangle shape off by the ocean and stuff like that. So I was thinking we do something a little different. What you think?
I like it. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
Will there be violence?
I can't guarantee that.
Probably not as much in this one.
But I don't know. We're gonna find out.
That last show we did, whoo, that one had some violence.
Was fire, huh?
Right. And let me just say, we're back. We've been hiatus for a while.
It's all good. We're back. All right, let's do it.
It's one of the most terrifyingly fascinating places on our planet. Ships and planes simply vanish. Radios and compasses just stop working. And some say they've even spotted UFOs there. I'm not just talking about the one and only Bermuda Triangle. It's got a whole motley crew of at least 11 other vile vortices. So what are they, and how do they form? The guy to ask would probably be Ivan T. Sanderson. He was a writer, a biologist, and a huge fan of the paranormal and inexplicable back in the 50s and 60s. He's the one who coined the term vile vortices in the first place. During his travels, he'd often record his experiences. What caught his attention the most was where the strangest, unexplained things kept happening. That is, disappearing ships and whatnot. He was able to map 12 of these places scattered all over the world. But the weird thing is, 6 of them lie almost perfectly in line above the equator. And the same goes for the 6 below it. So they are, number 1, the Bermuda Triangle. Crazy. Of course, you gotta start with the most infamous among the 12. Also known as the Devil's Triangle, the Bermuda Vortex has been up to no good for centuries. I'm sure you've heard of the 19th century incidents with the ships Rosalie and Ellen Austin. The first was found totally empty, yet undamaged. The latter found a derelict ship, sent her crew over to check it out, and those crew members ended up disappearing. The list of lost vessels and aircraft is long and still growing. So, what's going on in this body of water connecting Miami, San Juan, and the island of Bermuda? Besides the paranormal theories of wormholes to another dimension and gates to the underworld, this spot is really foggy due to methane gas that sometimes makes it impossible for travelers to see, thus making navigation a little tricky too. Although not leaving a trace is still an unanswered question about these losses. Number 2.
To go back to the Bermuda Triangle, not only do they have lost ships, but they actually have lost crewmen, right? With ships that are undamaged.
Yeah.
So I think that is very strange. And what would cause that? Could it be UFOs? Could it be, something unknown, like a creature or creatures? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I do think the fact that both types happen there is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a weird one. And in my understanding of the Bermuda Triangle is it's just mountains and mountains of it. They try to explain some of it away as it just being circumstantial and statistical because that area lies in sea lanes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't buy that. You know what I mean? I there's just too much. There's something going on there, whether it's supernatural, whether it's natural phenomenon. Sometimes people talk about rogue waves being in some parts of the ocean. The methane thing, I'd read studies where they said if enough methane gets released, it can create this water density problem. And if a ship or a plane or something happens to be near the surface or near it, it can actually cause it to fall. Almost like it's falling into something. So there's been those explanations. I don't know. The wormhole thing for me, maybe it comes on instantly, and if you just happen to be in a wrong part of some place, all the stuff that was there, ocean, plane, whatever, just vanishes and. Who knows? But
in one of the most famous cases of the Bermuda Triangle was Flight 19. Are you familiar with that one?
Yep. With those planes.
Where those planes, went missing. And what made it even more strange is that weeks later, right after they had gone searching and everything like that, they couldn't find anybody. What made it even stranger is that planes that were flying by these areas were hearing people that sounded like they were from Flight 19 asking for help.
Yeah.
Like
days later, right?
Yeah, like days later, weeks later. Yeah. That is strange. Like what causes that? Are they trapped somewhere? Are they in another dimension? Like what's going on?
Could be a time thing. One of my favorite sci-fis of the last 20 years was that one with Matthew McConaughey where time changed relative to gravity. Mm-hmm. And they finally expressed that in a movie. Well, I guess they kind of did in the movie The Black Hole when they went down in there and it was like...
Oh, Interstellar?
Interstellar. And what if massive gravitational changes in an object or in a space can alter time, whether it's wormhole-like, whether it's by a few days, whether it's 4 days, 3 days? What happens if it gets all shook up and then, maybe they get lost in like this weird... it would be a scary thing if they end up surviving whatever happens, but they're almost lost like in this side pocket of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes with video games,
like a limbo.
Like a weird limbo of time where they just run out of gas, fall into the ocean, and just die there.
Mm-hmm. That's strange.
It's so extreme. Or how crazy would that be if wherever they end up, there's other people from other times that have been getting sucked in at different times, and so it's like this constant stream of new creatures and Earth and stuff from way in the future, way in the past. Wouldn't that be a trip?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a hodgepodge of people from different times.
You'd have a ship from the 1800s. You'd have a craft a craft that future humans made that was space traveling, and then you'd have an aircraft carrier, and then you'd have, and all those people suddenly find themselves in this other time. And what the fuck does that look like? And what the hell do they do?
Hey, that is a good idea for a movie.
I think so, dude.
I'm just saying.
I'm telling you, I've been in kind of sci-fi mind lately. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know, dude. I don't know what's going on, but I do think something's going on.
I agree. So let's see what another place would be that's just like the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Still an unanswered question about these losses. Number 2, the Algerian Megaliths. These megaliths were a burial ground made by the Qing Empire, one of the most ancient civilizations on this planet. The megaliths are an architectural anomaly, showing just how advanced these people were for a time when we didn't have technology to help us build stable constructions. Well, with ancient burial grounds, things start getting iffy. To this day, whoever flies over this part of the Sahara Desert often doesn't return. Also, compasses spin like crazy, and electronics start wigging out in this spot. Witnesses have reported that it's covered by a heavy and dark aura that you can instantly feel once you enter it. Number 3.
What do you think about that one?
That's a trip. And out in the desert, something bad happens. You might as well be over the fucking ocean, man. There ain't nothing out there. There ain't nothing out in the Sahara. The Sahara is like the fucking, I think, the largest desert on planet Earth, or maybe it's the Mojave. I'm not exactly sure, but it's huge. I mean, in World War II, they lost a lot of planes that got lost in the desert, and those guys died because it's just. So if you have, it's like on Predator when homie says that thing. I know I say it all the time, but I love it. Where they're in the jungle and he tells his homie, "You lose your shit here, you're in a world of hurt." That's out there. That's fucking Sahara, man. You lose your shit out there, you're in a world of hurt.
No, definitely. And like you said, to be out in the desert like that, compared to the Bermuda Triangle, this place right here has something ominous, within the deserts or the sands or whatever, that's causing a lot of issues for these planes or even people probably walking through it. If there's people walking through it, right?
Yeah, it's probably rare, but it's interesting that they bring up that there's a sudden change of feeling. Maybe it's, who knows? Maybe it's just
meteor.
Who knows? Could be
because like in Mexico, there's a place like that by Chihuahua, and I want to say it's called La Zona de Silencio, where they have a lot of the same kind of characteristics. They kind of feel like something is strange in the area, and a lot of animals don't go there. And I want to say it was during the 80s or the 90s where a missile from White Sands Missile Range had veered off and actually took off and was drawn into Mexico. And it landed in the
Zone of Silence.
Silencio.
Wow.
So they have a lot of things, and a lot of compasses get, messed up there too. So I don't know, maybe it's an old meteor that crashed or something.
Could be some energy, some difference in energy, right?
Maybe from a different planet.
Because that's what I'm saying is I don't believe the answers to some of these have to be supernatural. I think there could be natural phenomenon that is like you said, an ancient meteor that lies, a mile below the surface. I mean, who the fuck knows? It could be a natural phenomenon. We just haven't figured it out yet. Which we say all the time, supernatural. Most natural phenomenon was called supernatural before we knew how it worked. So when, supernatural actually is an interesting moniker for that, because I think it changes. And then we go, oh, well, that's not otherworldly. That's this worldly. It's crazy.
Can you imagine like trying to have a conversation about quantum theory with a caveman?
Yeah, it would be you'd be a wizard. It's exactly what it is. You'd be a wizard.
And imagine a civilization more advanced than us trying to have a conversation with us.
Yeah, we couldn't.
Right?
Well, we could communicate, but they'd have to dumb shit down really far. Right?
Yeah. This is an atom. What? This is an atom.
Really far.
They're that's like, not an atom. He's an atom. What? No.
They're like talking to the world leaders and they're going, oh my God, these guys are ruled by, basically people with, infant understanding of the universe.
Hey, right? What did the monkey say today? I don't know.
Yeah, like it reminds me of Planet of the Apes, right? The serum kind of made him a little bit more than a monkey, but in all truth, we're just monkeys to the aliens.
God damn monkey.
The monkey, yeah. Goddamn monkey. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's definitely possible. This is a phenomenon that one day we will figure out. We just don't know it yet.
Number 3, Mohenjo-Daro. This architectural site in Pakistan goes way back to the Indus Valley Civilization in 2500 BCE. Like in Algeria, this society was, for some reason, surprisingly advanced when it came to building and urban planning. The strange thing is that nobody knows what brought an end to the people living in this town. Remains were found, and it looked almost as if everyone had perished at once. Theories are that it could have been some natural disaster, an armed invasion from a neighboring empire, or even angry, violent deities. Unfortunately, we don't really know for sure. Number 4.
With that one, it's kind of similar to the one in New Mexico, the Anasazi, remember?
The Anasazi, yep.
Where they're very, very sophisticated in what they have, but they don't know what happened to that culture.
Mm-hmm. Like in a
famine.
In a sociological context, it's almost like they ended in a blink of an eye, even if it might be 200 years, 300 years, for an entire civilization to die out in basically 2 or 3 generations. Is like, boom, it's a blink of an eye.
And another thing too might be like assimilation, right? Because maybe they starved, or maybe they, for whatever reason, a large majority of their tribe or their people couldn't sustain themselves. In order to survive, maybe they just blended into the places that were closest near them, and they took on their religion, they took on their beliefs, their language,
or even just became smaller groups that just evolved in isolation into something different. A lot of people believe the Anasazi are actually the ancestors of the Pueblo peoples.
Interesting.
And that what destroyed them was drought. Mm-hmm. Like what destroys a lot of these civilizations, the Mayans, the Anasazi, they really believe there was a period there where what happens if you can't feed your people? What would happen if the grocery stores didn't have food, ran out of food in a week? Would all the people just stick around being hungry and die? No, they fucking move, right? Mm-hmm. Pure hunger will destroy a civilization in the sense of the cohesion falls apart. Mm-hmm. So that's why those droughts. So I think this one could be natural. I'm sorry, it's not a deity, you crazy motherfucker. That's really, bro. No.
Hey, the rain god did not come.
I don't think Thor is going to come down and. Sorry, bro. Let's rewrite that one.
Sure. Number 4, the Dragon's Triangle. Heading further east along the same northern line, we arrive in Japan, where the Dragon's Triangle, also called the Devil's Sea, is located. The most astonishing thing about this vile vortex is that there's an underwater city dubbed Japan's Atlantis. And again, we see this anomaly of ancient civilizations creating incredibly precise architecture. Deep under the sea, you'll find tons of stone monoliths cut with perfect 90-degree angles. But don't put your diving suit on just yet. Due to the fact that all kinds of planes and ships have vanished in the Bermuda Triangle of the Pacific, Japanese authorities have deemed it too dangerous to go anywhere near. Number 5.
That brought up an interesting point, right? Where it's, civilizations that have been either, deep into the ocean when the water changed, of course. Mm-hmm. And those civilizations being, having architecture that they shouldn't have, right? That brings up the question, what are the other types of people or technologies that might be in the ground that's deep that we may not know about. Maybe like, for example, the place that was in Algeria, right? That people get that dark sense. What if there's something underneath there that people built a long time ago that is causing these types of mysteries, right? And just like in Japan, what if people made something a long time ago that we can't find right now, but it's causing all kinds of chaos, right? So
yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe some of the ancient peoples and civilizations had an understanding of geothermal. Maybe they could dig to get heat, to get, maybe they could. And, I've heard stories that there's just some civilizations they think just fell between the archaeological fingers that just maybe existed, but for a really short time, but for that really short time were highly advanced in some specific technology that's just lost to time. I mean, Greek fire is a big one. Back in the Middle Ages, the ships that had the Greek fire or whatever, they still don't quite know what made it so good at doing what the ancients said.
Or even the Antikythera machine that they found, right? They still don't know exactly what that purpose of that machine, which is technically the first computer, ever made, right?
Yeah.
Technically.
They still don't know. Or that battery, that rock battery that's been found.
The Baghdad battery,
Yep. The what's another one I'm trying to think of?
That one right there is so interesting to me, right? The Baghdad battery. For the reason being, I'd even like to do a show on ancient technologies like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's so strange because if you would have to know what chemicals, right, would produce an electrical charge, right? And then the second question would be off of that, why would you be trying to make electrical charges in that time
no
period?
Use for it in that time period. Absolutely none.
And so that brings up a third question, right? Because it's a cascade, right? Un cascada of questions. Who or what is trying to use electricity back then?
Yeah. Well, then that brings us full on around to the time travel part, right? Is there something where time travel on occasion has sent people, accidentally too far back, forward? Who knows?
Or how about, right? We talk about the multiverse of possibilities of things that can happen, right? What if we get visitors from other timelines into ours?
Yeah, other dimensions,
right?
Yeah,
exactly. Maybe it's an Earth that's like our Earth, but it's not exactly like our Earth.
Yeah,
right.
Went off on its own.
Run amok.
It got dang run amok. when they're making rock batteries.
It's strange.
Volcano.
But you know what? That would be a good one that we should do is ancient technology. I don't think we've done that.
Yeah, you've got the like the Inca walls.
Strange.
They've been like, how did they, like the masonry with ancient tools? It'd be hard. It'd be almost impossible to do some of that stuff with modern tools.
Well, I have pictures where it almost looks like the rock is melted in order to fit in between and create a joint. I mean, it's just incredible. It's like, how do you melt a rock that huge at certain points to make a joint inside for another rock to fit in? I mean, that's just mind-boggling.
For those, for that technology, how the hell do we? It's crazy.